maybe some of the things that you don't love so much. But one of the things I think that is really important about the subject selection for Year 9 are beyond the subjects that you pick is the process that you have to go through. And so actually really starting to weigh up the things that you do or don't want to take, but also to actually go on the journey of even the simple things of entering it into the computer system so then the timetable can be created. It's actually all part of the learning journey, being able to talk with the teachers, not just about the things that you might want to do next year, but maybe pick their brain about the following year or the year after that as well. So I really do encourage you to ask lots of questions. That's what your staff are here for. And I hope that you have a very informative evening which really helps you with those choices that you are about to make.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to add my welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us this evening. And for those of you I've not had the pleasure of meeting before, my name is Lakshmi Mohan and I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning. This evening I'm going to give you an overview of the subject selection process. But I guess the main focus for this evening is to give you the opportunity to meet with our heads of department, to meet with specialist teachers, and I'm going to embarrass our heads of department by asking them to come and sit in front here to give me some company. They're probably going to kill me, but actually... So we have with us today our teaching and learning team, and our fabulous heads of department. They're all experienced educators. They are passionate about the subject areas that they lead, and they're here today to answer any questions that you might have. So like Andrew said, please ask. We are here to help. We also have with us today a number of our specialist teachers, and I thank them for giving up their time to be with us here this evening. So to start off, I will give you a brief overview. All students in Year 9 will study 4 subjects from the Australian curriculum. So all students will study English, Maths, Science, Social Science, Health and Physical Education. In addition, they will all study Christian education as well. They're also able to choose 3 electives, and we have 9 choices to offer. From this, they are able to choose any 3. So girls, while you're looking at your choices, while you're thinking about what are the electives you might like to study, I'd like to encourage you to think about a few things. Firstly, what do you enjoy doing? So what are you passionate about? What are the subjects this year that are really interesting you and engaging you? So that's one thing to think about. The other thing to think about, obviously, is how are you traveling in these subjects? What are your marks so far? Think about the marks that you've got in semester 1. What are your results? But whilst you're doing that, I think it's really important also to think about if your marks are not quite where you would like them to be, have you reflected on why that could possibly be? Is it, do you really think that you've put in the best effort that you could into that subject? Have you asked enough questions in class? Do you think you're using your class time really productively? Have you attended any tutorials to get any extra help if you need it? So think about all that. Be honest with yourself. Do some self-reflection. I know it seems a very long time away, you're going into university and thinking about career pathways, but if there are certain career pathways that seem to interest you, think about whether the subject electives that you're looking at align to those career pathways. If you need any additional help about or advice about pathways after school, please reach out to Ms. McLaughlin. She's a wealth of information on different career pathways. She's really happy to answer any questions that you might have. So, some of the things that might help you with your decision making. Firstly, all subjects are of equal value. So it doesn't really matter what you choose as an elective. The contribution towards your overall result is going to be the same. The only exception is EALS, which is English as an Additional Language Support. This is not an academic subject, it is a support subject. There are certain criteria that you need to satisfy to be able to study this subject. If you think you're eligible to choose EALS, please see Ms. Eagle if you need some extra information. She's our head of English and Humanities, and she'll help answer any questions that you might have. All of the subjects that you will study in Year 9 will build on the foundations that have been set in Year 8, and they will take you through to the study of subjects in Year 10. And finally, if you are intending to study an English or music in the senior years, you must choose that language and music to study in years 9 and 10. So you do build the base to reach your year 11 and 12 study of languages and music. Again, when you're making your decisions, think that you should not do. So please do not choose a subject just because your friends are choosing it. Because every one of you is unique, you're individual, you have your own talents, you have your own abilities, and obviously you will have your own interests. There are lots of opportunities in school to socialize with your friends. You don't really need to socialize with them in the classroom. That is when you should be making good use of your class time and focusing on your academics. All right? Please don't select a subject because you like the teacher who's teaching it this year. Teachers' classes and subjects will change from one year to the other, so you might end up choosing a subject because you think your particular teacher is going to teach it. Next year, you'll have a different teacher. Where does that leave you? So please choose a subject because you want to do it and you're interested in it. Please don't choose a subject just because mum and dad were good at it. Right? So obviously you'll have lots of things common with mum and dad, but you are individuals in your own right. You will have your own interests and things that you are good at. Along the same lines, don't not choose a subject because mum and dad were not good at it. Okay? Don't choose a subject just because you've heard on the grapevine that it's easy. Don't choose a subject because you've heard other subjects are too hard. Girls, once again, you have your own abilities, your own interests. Something that I find really easy, someone else might find hard, and the same way, something that I find really challenging, like music, Ms. Lockyer will find it really easy. And I find it hard to hold a tune, so you know. So we all have our own individual interests, our own abilities. So, once you've had a bit of a reflection, you've had an opportunity to talk to your teachers and heads of department, you've spoken to mum and dad, had some conversations, what do you need to do to be able to make your decisions? What are the steps that you need to follow? So the first thing is, all of you, when you came in today, would have had a little, this little folio handed to you. In there, you will have a subject selection handbook. This handbook has a wealth of information, and I strongly urge you to read through this before you make your choices. Ask questions. We are all here to help you. This evening, very soon, I'll stop talking very soon because the focus today is not for me to stand here and speak at you. It's more for you to mingle with your teachers and ask questions. So ask lots of questions. We love to be able to guide you and support you through this really important process. Step 2, choose 5 from the 9 electives. Now you will think that I'm confusing you. Previously, a little while ago, I said you will study 3 out of the 9 electives. Yes, you will study 3, but you need to choose 3 preferences and 2 reserves. So you need to think about 5 subjects that you would like to study from the 9. And the most important thing is you must prioritize the order in which you want to study these subjects. So if you think I'm really passionate about music, that is what I would like my first preference to be, then make sure you list it like that on the online form. Okay, so that's really important. You must order your preferences. I've already spoken about that. This step is really crucial. Step 3, you need to complete an online subject preference form. So the other bit of paper in that folder that you got is called your Web Preferences Access Guide. Now, it's really important that you picked up the folder that has your name on it because this sheet of paper is individual for each student. Okay? So if you've got the wrong folder, then you'll be entering in as the wrong student. So that's really important. Now, if you follow that link, and the link is on this paper as well, it will take you onto the online platform, and I will actually step you through the online platform soon. But you need to go on there and complete your preferences online before the 15th of July. So the 15th of July is the end of week 1 of term 3. So you have some time. You've got about 5 weeks before which you need to submit your final preferences online. And parents, it's really important that you have to sign on this online form. Unless you sign off on your daughter's choices, you are not able, she is not able to submit her form online, so that's really important. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through the process. If you follow that link, it will take you onto this page, the portal, where it asks you for an access code and password. If you look at the piece of paper here, you will have a unique access code and your own unique password. That's what you enter there. Once you do that, it will take you to this page where it says, Welcome to Subject Selection with Web Preferences. Alright, on the top left-hand corner, you will see that this student is AAA, that is me. I went in as student AAA, I just call myself AAA. So it should give your name there on the left if you've used your code and password. Once you hit the Add New Preferences button, it should take you onto the next page where there's an overview, basically a summary or a synopsis of what I've just shared with you. It will tell you, you must study English, Maths, Science, Social Science, Christian Education, Health and Physical Education as part of the core curriculum. It then tells you, you need to select 3 electives and 2 reserves. Gives you a little bit more, a few more things to guide you. It also says if you want to put in English as an additional language support, that must be your preference number 1. So a few things there to guide you through the process. Once you've had a read of that and you hit the proceed button, it will take you onto this page where you can put in your preferences. 3 preferences, 2 reserves. Okay? Use the drop-down menu and all of the 9 options will appear there for you to choose. Now, if you decide, oh, I don't want to give Mrs. Mohan reserves because these are the only 3 subjects I want to study, I'm just going to put preference 1, 2 and 3 and that's it. Well, it won't allow you to submit the form. Okay, it's very clever like that. I've told it to what it needs to do. So you have to have 3 preferences and 2 reserves. Okay, once you've done that and you move on, it will. So I chose these as a student, and then I hit proceed. It brought me to this page where it just gave me an overview, telling me, all right, these are your 3 preferences, those are your reserves. Are you all right to carry on? Asks me to sign. So girls, you need to go and sign online, and that is my really artistic signature as a student. Alright? Once you do that, you sign and you just hit save signature. It will ask you to put in your carer or parent or caregiver's email. So that's where you put either mum or dad's email address in, and when you press OK, this email, parents, you will receive this as an email. So what that is telling you is your daughter will have her name there and it will say you need to follow 4 steps in order to check and submit the form. So your daughter has submitted it to you, you need to submit it to me. So that's the process, all right? So it says open the receipt. Just have to click there on that link to open the receipt. And I'll show you what the receipt looks like. It then says review the receipt, sign on the receipt and submit. So just 4 steps that you need to do, and all of that is kind of summarized on this page. So please don't think that once you go away from here, if you can't remember, that's all good, it's all here. So once you go in and click that link, it brings you to this receipt, which basically says, these are the 3 preferences that your daughter has listed, those are the reserves, she's also signed off. It will then ask you to sign. If you go in and sign another piece of artwork, I tried really hard, that's the best I could get. But anyway, you sign, you save, and you submit. So there are 2 steps. You need to save it and also submit it. Once you do that, it gives you a receipt. So that's your proof that you've submitted it. If you like, you can print out a copy. So if you go to the top right-hand side, it says Open Print View. Once you do that, it will give you this view. You can download it and save it as a PDF, or you could print it and keep a copy for yourself. So that's the entire process. The other thing, girls, you need to remember is you have 5 choice times to make changes. Now, today you might, think about this. Next week you might go in and put 3 preferences, 2 reserves. And after a week you might think, oh, well, I really think I don't want to study that subject, I would like to replace it with something else. Or you might think, I want to change the order in which I've listed these. That's okay. You can go back and do another submission. You're able to do 5 of those, so 5 times for you to go and make changes if you like to, but all of them have to be done before 8 p.m. of July 15th. After that, it will close and you can't make any changes. Okay? All right, very good. So what happens after that? Once I have got all of the student preferences, we will put them and into the program and get what we call the timetable lines. Now, unlike many schools with predetermining the timetable lines, we don't do that here. We're actually asking you for your preferences and trying to tailor the timetable around your preferences. So it is our aim to personalize the timetable for every single student. So we do try to give our girls their top 3 preferences. However, that it doesn't always happen that we're able to manage that, but we try really hard to get that. And we will send an email late in term 3 to let you know which electives you have been assigned. Couple of things to keep in mind. Like I said, we at all times try to meet the curriculum needs of our student body, but you will appreciate and acknowledge that timetabling basically is also dependent on our ability to staff and resource the different programs. It also depends on the number of students who are choosing the different subjects. So there's a few different things that we have to keep in mind while we put the timetable together. And all final decisions rest with the college on what we run and the subjects that we decide to run. Okay, so finally, we are all here to help you. All your teachers, our heads of department, myself, we're happy to guide and support you through this really important process. If you have any questions with regards to the actual subject selection process, please reach out to me. If you have any subject specific questions, please reach out to your teachers or your heads of department. There's a 3rd piece of paper in your handout today, and that is a little map. It tells you where the different subjects have kind of set up this evening. We're all up here in the upper LRC. The map is on screen as well now, so I really encourage you to use the next little while to chat with teachers. You have about 35 minutes because at 7 o'clock we'll be having our next round, so that 9s into 10s subject selection. But up until then, I encourage you to meet our teachers, our heads of department, have a chat. And thank you very much for coming in this evening.